Hey, everybody, what's happening? It's Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me, and I'm here again with another, I guess you can call them episodes of Confidence, Connection, and Quora, right? Quora as in the site, Quora.com. And here's why that's a part of my title. For the month of January, what I'm doing is just doing a little challenge for myself. I didn't really put this out as a big challenge anywhere else. I just decided that I was going to do it. And here's what I'm doing. Every day, every weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what I'm doing is going to Quora.com and answering a question on public speaking, confidence, and connecting. Okay, how do you connect with people and how do you do that with confidence? So I'm answering questions on that every day. And when I answer the question, I will then post that article on Medium or LinkedIn or as well. And then at the end of the day, I do a live where I talk about some of the same things and share some of the same ideas and stories that I answered in the question and wrote in the article. Now, the question is, why am I even doing this in the first place? Well, there are a few reasons that I do it. Number one, it helps me to be intentional about a topic about which I'm passionate. Okay, and that's sharing your story and speaking with confidence. Number two, it helps me to practice in public. PIP, practice in public, right? And here's why that's important. A lot of times we have these things that we want to do, and then we hold ourselves back from doing them because we don't feel like we're ready. And we don't feel like we're practiced enough, and it's not perfect enough. So we don't do them, and we hide them. What I'm trying to do is get better at speaking, get better at being on video, and get better at writing. And so I'm doing that and sharing that in public. So that's my second reason. I'm practicing in public. The third reason why I'm doing this is hopefully it brings you some value. As I answer these questions, hopefully you'll be able to hear some of the answers that you want, maybe to some of the questions that you've had about speaking, about confidence, and about connection. All right, so here's the question for today. Let me rock and roll and get this on the screen. Yeah, so here's the question that I answered today. What's a good way to stop using and when you're speaking? Right? What's a good way to stop using and and like and all of those different words when you're speaking? So you've probably heard somebody using or a whole lot when they're speaking. That person might even be you. Okay? So don't worry about it too much right now. Don't worry about it too much. But I want you to think about, or I shouldn't say don't worry about it. Don't feel guilty about it. You're not this terrible or horrible person. What I want you to think about for just a moment is I want you to think back to some time where you heard somebody speaking. And while they were speaking, you heard them say they stumbled, they bumbled, they fumbled, they said a whole lot, they paused a whole lot, and they looked like they weren't sure of what it was that they had to say. Here's the question. How did you perceive that person? How did you take the message that they had to say? Flip the script here just for a second and think about a time when you heard somebody that was ridiculously they were polished. They didn't have they didn't have what we call filler words in their talk. How did you perceive them as a person, and how did you perceive what they had to say to you? Okay? How did all of that come across to you? So here's what happens. A lot of times when we see people, they speaking and they have filler words and they're always saying, and they're stopping and they're stumbling over their words. What that does is we become less confident in what they have to say. General rule, I'm not talking about a here or there, an or an here or there. I'm talking about every other word, every couple of words, every 2 or 3 words. That's that's their practice. That's what they do. And it's not or ah, it might be like. Those things kind of stand out to you after a while. So here are some things that you can do. Actually, before I jump into what you can do, I want to share with you why uhs, and filler words pop up in people's language. It's the same reason why it's actually equal to how we live our lives. A lot of us, our lives are crazy busy. We're moving back and forth, and we're doing so many things, and silence, or the moment to rest, is deafening. And so we seek to fill every moment of our lives because we're scared of the silence. And in public speaking or in speaking, a lot of times it's the same thing. The reason why we say because we're scared of that silence. We don't want to hear that silence. Those pauses can be deafening. And so we seek to fill those areas with sound. And those sounds come out as because we're thinking and we're talking, and those happen at different paces or at different speeds. So we seek to fill the space. We seek to fill the dead air with some sound. Okay. So here are some things that you can do to get rid of that. I'm just trying to fix my note. I've got a little note here below the screen. Here's some things that you can do to deal with that. Number one, what you can do is recognize that you do it. Okay, you can recognize that you have those filler words, and the only way to recognize that is by listening to yourself, hearing yourself speak, hearing yourself talk, hearing yourself on video, recording yourself, checking yourself out, evaluating yourself, recognizing that. Okay, and then you can do something about it. Second thing that you can do is share a story. Practice sharing stories. We are more familiar with stories, and we are familiar with the pieces of a story, and we tend to get passionate in our stories rather than reporting information. When we are telling a story, we're more fluid, and so the more that you can practice that, the more that you will get a sense of what are your triggers and the ways that you can really create fluidity as you speak. Third thing that you can do is slow down. Slow down. A lot of times we're pushing and we're rushing ahead, and the reasons that we use those words is because, again, we're running at two different paces, mentally and verbally. So slow down, think about the next phrase that you want to say, and then speak. The fourth thing is closing your mouth. Closing your mouth. You speak, and then we tend to keep our mouths open because we're ready to move to the next statement. What about closing your mouth and then moving on to the next statement? Because the more that your mouth is open, the easier it is for that or that sound to just come out. The last one is eye contact. If you've ever watched yourself speak, I don't know if you have, but I have. When I watch myself speak, or when I did watch myself speak, the times where I use filler words are times where I'm kind of looking away, and I'm looking away just like I'm doing now because I'm thinking. And all of those typically come because you're thinking about the next thing that you want to say. So one of the things that you can do to combat that, this is the number 5 thing, is eye contact. Finding somebody that is pleasing, finding somebody that you can create contact with, because you're then telling them a story. You're then pouring into them. That's going to help you slow down. That's going to help you gauge understanding. That's going to help you see that they're hearing you. And it's going to stop you. It's going to slow you down from just thinking or overthinking your words. Okay, so I'll repeat those for you. Recognize that you do it. Second thing is practice telling stories. The third thing is slow down. Fourth thing is closing your mouth in between phrases or sentences. The fifth thing is contacting somebody through their eyes, eye contact. Now, that's it for today. I'm about done with this. And here's what I want to encourage you to do. Let me see if I can pop over. I need to get my next statement on the screen here. I've got too many things on the screen. Let me get that one off. I want you to join me in the Speak Right Now community for some great tips on speaking and telling your story. And if you want to do that, what you can do is right here, speakrightnow.com/community, or you can go up to your search area on Facebook here and type in the word Speak Right Now community, and you should be able to find us on Facebook. We're going to be having some great stuff happening in the month of January and in the year 2018. So I want you to subscribe also. It should be in the link in the status update here. You should see a YouTube link to subscribe there for more information on speaking with confidence and sharing your story. Let me see if there's anything else. I think you can subscribe. I'm messing up my words. I think you can subscribe to the Facebook Lives as well. And as I'm doing this month, I'll be writing every day on these topics. Okay, so I look forward to speaking with you and hanging out with you again tomorrow in the afternoon. I'm not sure exactly what time, but I'll schedule it and I'll post it online here. And it's time for you to get out, tell your story. Guess what? Because your story deserves a stage. Somebody just gave me a thumbs up. Thanks for joining me, hanging out with me for a little bit this afternoon. I'll see you soon.